hello there, and welcome to the e-signature training, which is the step 2 in the buyer process here at LePage Vision. The electronic signature process is part of the social distancing tools program that we have developed here at LePage Vision in response to the 2020 COVID outbreak. At that point, during 2020, we were not able to meet our clients face-to-face, but we still needed to be able to do business and be productive, again, without meeting our clients face-to-face. So if you're tuning into this in 2021, 2022, or sometime in the future, just so you know, this is when we developed the program for social distancing. Again, this electronic signature is part of the Smart Offer presentation system. It is step 2. Step 1 was web forms. So if you haven't yet watched step 1 web forms, I would encourage you to watch that before you watch this, because this will not make any sense to you unless you do step 1. So please watch step 1 and then come back and watch this. All right, so we're going to dive right into it. So we're going to actually start at NEXONE. So when you first log in at nexone.ca, you're going to click on login, which is on the right hand side. It's going to bring you to this screen. You will need to know, you're not going to log in right now, but you're going to need to know your email address as well as your password. Now, the email address that's associated with your NEXONE account is the same email that you're using at the Toronto Real Estate Board. If you don't know what that is, you can always call the office at 416-321-2228, and we can get you the email address. Now, the password is yours and personal. When you first were set up, it was vision123, it should be. So lowercase v, vision123. If that does not work with this email address, you can always click on forgot your password, and it'll bring you to this screen. Again, you'll need to know the email address that is associated with the account, which you can get from calling the office. You'll click next, and you will get a password recovery email sent to this email. All right, so if it's a TrebNet email and you have it forwarded to your Gmail, just look out for it in your Gmail or whatever email you have forwarded to. All right, so we're gonna jump right in. We're going to click on web forms, which is on the Toronto MLS homepage, just where we were in class 1 or the first video here. And we're going to jump into our transactions. So you can jump into the transactions right from the home screen. If you just did the transaction and you want to send it, it'll be at the top here. You can jump in at create a transaction, or you can use the sidebar here, and the icon that looks like a home is transaction. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to use the transaction that we created in the last class for 23 Winterberry Drive. So we're just going to click right on the name, and it will bring us into the transaction homepage, or the actual transaction package. So you'll be brought right here. And then to send the forms to electronic signature, we're going to click on Go to Forms. And these are all the forms that are in this offer. All right. So if you wanted to select all the paperwork all at one time, you would just have to click in this circle that's beside the basket. And as you can see here, it has selected all of the paperwork. If you wanted to only select a couple of forms to send, you can individually select. So for time's sake, I'm going to select the agreement of purchase and sale, as well as the confirmation of co-op. All right. As discussed in the last chapter, the last class, we told you that you should not be sending the buyer representation agreement at time of signing. This should have been part of your interview process or your buyer interview process, and you should have had it signed after the first or second meeting with your client. All right. So again, we're going to send form 100 and form 320 to NEXONE. So how do you do that? You're going to click on the basket after you've selected the forms here. As you can see here, there's a 2 in the basket. It means there's 2 forms sitting here, as you can see here. And then we're going to click on the pen, which is send to third-party vendor. And then we're going to click on NEXONE. Now, it's going to come up with 3 options here. A transaction is anytime you are representing on the buyer side, or if it's a lease on the tenant side. Listing, anytime it's a listing, you're going to click that. And like I just mentioned, when you're sending the buyer representation agreement ahead of time and you're only sending the BRA, you would select the buyer's agreement. But because this is an offer for sale and we're representing the buyer, obviously in the offer, we're going to click on transaction. Okay, and this is going to open up NEXONE. If this is your first time doing this, there will probably be a pop-up blocker here, and you'll have to allow. But of course, we've done this many times, so there is no pop-up blocker for us. This is going to take you into NEXONE. So sometimes it'll take you right into the transaction. Sometimes it'll bring you here, and sometimes it'll bring you to the transaction right into the documents. So it opened up just NEXONE. So all you need to do is click on transactions, and you'll see here it created a new transaction package called 23 Winterberry Drive, Markham. All right, so we're going to click on that. Okay, and this is the whole transaction that it created for you. The status is set to kit. Please take note of that. Until the deal is done, the status should always be set to kit. When all the signed documents have been put into your NEXONE and everything's done, you've got the executed copy, you've got deposit receipt and everything, you're going to come back into your NEXONE, click on the transaction, you're going to click on edit, and then you're going to select from kit to pending. And then once you do that, you're going to scroll down and hit save. What that does is it sends the kit to the front desk. Front desk will start processing the whole transaction, but you have already put all of your documents in here, so they really will not have to contact you until it's time for getting paid. So for our purpose in this section, all we are going to have to do with this is to add our client to this package. Okay, so we're going to click on add a client, which is right here. We're going to put their name, so Jane Doe. And then all we have to do is put in their email. So I'm going to put in my email here. Obviously, this will be their email, not my email or your email. But for the purposes of this class, I'm going to put in Justin D'Souza at royallepage.ca. So just first name, last name, what are they? Are they a buyer, seller? Obviously, they're the buyer. And then their email, and that's all you need. Click save. And you should see a green box in the right corner with the check mark. So that's it. We're done in the transaction side. So now we'll have to come down here. You can see documents and follow-up. You're going to click on documents. And you're going to see here, these are the 2 documents that we sent from WebForms, and they are sitting here in our next one. Okay. So from here, we're going to click on the signatures tab. And as we haven't sent anything for signature yet, the first thing we're going to do is click on add signature request. And just like when you were coming from WebForms into NEXONE, going from NEXONE to the e-signature process, you may have a pop-up blocker, which will end up here in the address bar. You'll have to click it and allow, and that's all you'll have to do. Okay, and then it will open up. So as you can see here, we already put our client's information. It came over from NEXONE. So first name, last name, as well as the email address. Okay, you're going to add yourself as a signer because you as the agent will have to sign this package as well. And the other thing I want just to talk about before we actually get into the e-signature is one is the routing. So you see it's set to 1 for both. That means both your client as well as yourself will get the package to sign at the same time. If you wanted to sign first and have your client get it after you sign, you select to 2. If you wanted to get the package after your client signs, you would set yourself to 2 and keep them at 1. I usually keep both at 1. I don't usually touch this so that everybody gets the package all at the same time. Especially if you have multiple clients and they both want to read at the same time. Keeping everybody at 1 is a good option. The other thing is password. So this adds a second level of security when it comes to signing. Let's say you send a package out. Kids are always checking email. People are always checking each other's email, might start signing, and the parents never saw it. So this way you can put in a password. It can be alphanumeric, it can just be numeric, it can just be alpha. You just have to, whatever you put in here, you have to communicate with your client, like send them a text or something telling them that you've sent them the signing package and this is the password that they are going to have to use. So I'm just going to put in 123 just to show you what that looks like later on. Okay, so again, just an added level of security for the clients. All right, so again, first name, last name, their email address is already here, password 123, and you also have been set up as a signer. Okay, so we're just going to click next, which is in the bottom right corner right here. Okay, so subject line is already here. You can always change what the subject line is, but by default, this is documents for electronic signing for, and then the address of the property. Same thing with the message. You can do whatever you want with the message, but this is what the message is by default. All right. Down here, you can see your documents, transaction documents. What you'll need to do is click and drag from transaction documents into documents for signing. So you can see documents for signing, so you're just going to drag it under there. Okay. And what you can do is you can always change the order depending on how you want to do this. All right. And then you can tag your documents for signature after that. So you drag it from under transaction documents to under documents for signing, and you can always change the order if you want. Okay. So next step is tag documents for signatures. Okay, so now you're going to be brought to the signature page. You're going to notice that your client is here and you are here. So for whatever, whoever you want to place the signatures for, they will need to be highlighted. So what do? You just click on their name and you can see they are highlighted. And then you just, so initial for here, so you can see you've got sign here, initial here, date and time, text field, strike through, as well as a check box. So this is an initial, so you're just gonna click and drag. Sorry, my computer is very sensitive, so you're gonna start seeing definitions every time I click and drag. You probably won't get that. Okay. It's very, very simple to place the signatures. Just a quick click and drag. Okay. Okay, this is so everything's been initials until now, and now it's sign here. So we're gonna click on, oops, sorry. Click on the sign. Okay. The other thing we'll have to place is the date. And as you can see, it's asking for a date. It's not asking for a date and time, it's asking for a date. So we can click in this box, which is saying day, month, year, as well as time. We're going to click in that. As you can see, you can select date and time, date, or just time. So for this, we're going to click date, and you can see that changed, right? So it was this, and now it's changed to just day, month, year, okay? Acknowledgement. should you be signing this? Should your client be signing this right away? The answer is no. They need to get the finalized document before they sign this. So let's say the sellers accept your offer. They send you back the executed copy. They will sign here, and then you'll get the executed copy. Then your client will have to sign here, and you can put the buyer lawyer information and everything in here at that time. Okay, so now is not the time to acknowledge this copy. All right, scroll down here. Oh, now it has to be me. I have to sign this area because this is the commission trust agreement. So I'm going to click on myself and unclick my client. So see that? It will look like this. So you unclick to deselect your client and click here to activate your signature. And again, you're just going to bring down your signature. See, different color. All right, so I'm going to deselect myself and then I'm going to select my client because I know Schedule A is coming. I don't have to sign anything here. Oops. Oh, I think you get it. So just do a little quicker. Now, confirmation of acceptance, you both need to sign on this page, or you both need to initial this page. You can have both of us selected at the same time. When you drag down the initial, it'll bring down two initials, your client as well as yourself, and you just have to drag yourself into the area. Okay, deselect your client because you know you're going to have to sign here. And then same thing, date, not date and time. Oops. Okay, date. Okay. And hey, it's a multiple representation. So don't forget to bring your buyer's initial here. Okay, because it's being sold by the listing brokerage and it's also being sold by the listing brokerage. Okay, and then sign down here in this acknowledgement, bring down the date. All right. Okay. So just make sure, scroll back up, make sure that you've gotten all the signatures that you need to get on this document. And let's say you did that, everything's done, everything's good to go. You're going to just click on send, which is this button right here. Okay, so both you and your client will get an email. The great thing about this is you don't have to go to your email as the agent. You can start signing right from the app itself. Okay, so we're going to click on start signing. Click on sign yourself. You're going to have to agree. Start electronic signing. Click on start signing. And it's going to take the paperwork right down to where you need to start signing. So to sign, you just have to click on the tab here. This is sign here. Okay, click next. This is your initial, next, click, and then complete signing. Okay, and then you can just close out of this. Okay. Sorry, my okay. So we're just going to close out of this. We're going to refresh this screen, which is your transaction screen. Click on signatures. And this is your package that you have. As you can see, it's in progress because the client still has not opened anything. So you're just going to click on that. And as you can see here, it says all of your signing has been done. So it was, you were informed, you viewed, you saved your signature, which saved signature already happened a long time ago because you have done this before. You started signing and you finished signing. So you see the whole progress for this package is done for yourself. Now, what did your client get? So let's come here. Let's say this is your client's email. Okay, they say, as you can see here, that's the topic is, or the subject is, documents for electric signing for 23 Winterberry, blah, 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 right? So this is the email they got. So they open it up and they come to this screen. You click on, they would click on Start Signing Session. Okay, they're gonna click on I agree. If they have signed before, they will not be asked to set up their signature. If this is their first time, after they click on Start Electronic Signing, they will be directed to somewhere for them to either set up their signature, they're going to use their finger to set it up, or they can click on different fonts. Okay. Right here is the password area. Remember, we put the password 123, and we already communicated to our client that you're going to have to put this in. So 123 and start electronic signing. See, so that's what I said. It'll come here to set up your signature. Okay, so you can draw it or you can type it. And if you're going to get it typed, you've got a few different options here. Okay, so fluid, printed, script, modern, cursive, and it was on classic when we first got here. Okay, we're going to keep on classic. All right, but before we go any further, I'm just going to shut this down. And I'm going to come back here just to show you one thing. So I'm going to refresh the page again. I'm going to come to signatures. I'm going to click on the package. I'm going to show you live. This is the process. I haven't yet, me as the client has not yet saved my signature, but I was informed, which means the email was sent. I viewed the email, and I'm in the middle of getting my signature saved. So you can watch this in real time. Let's say you sent this package to multiple clients. You can keep refreshing, and you'll see who is holding up the transaction. You can give them a call, ask them if they have any trouble with the electronic signature, and you can walk them through. You can handhold them through the whole thing. All right. So we're gonna go back here. Sorry, where were we? So we were here as the client. We just finished selecting what we want it to look like. We're going to say save and review documents. Okay, so you've just finished setting up your signature, or sorry, your client has just finished setting up their signature. Now they need to just start signing. So just like you as a realtor saw, they get the same look and feel. So they're going to click on Start Signing. And again, it's just click and next, click, next, click, next, right? Pretty self-explanatory what they need to do. And complete signing. The great thing about this is you're not emailing your client a bunch of paperwork that they need to print, sign, then scan back to you. You don't have to run all over the place to get things signed. You can do this from the office or the comfort of your own home. Okay. So we're just going to refresh the transaction. Okay. Click back on signatures. As you can see now, the status was not in progress. It is now completed. You can come in here and see the status of everything once it opens. Okay, see, this is Jane Doe. This is everything she's done. She was informed, she viewed, signature saved, started signing, and she finished signing, right? And it gives you the date and time, as well as the map of where she signed from, because she shared her location, or she allowed to share the location. Same thing with me. Everything's done and where I signed. There's a lot of tracking that comes with this program. So this is all because if somebody ever has a dispute later on down the road, this tracking can be audited and pulled, and it'll show that yes, they did sign from this computer, from this location, and not only from the XY coordinates, but as well as the Z coordinates. So they signed on the second floor, 8th floor of this building. This is the kind of tracking that they have with this. So it's for your client security as well as your security as the agent if there ever is a dispute. So you as the agent will get an email with all of the paperwork that's signed. Your client will also get an email with all the paperwork that is signed. So you can either download the documents from the email, or you can download them straight from here. So you can download them one at a time right here under signed documents, or you can download a zip file with all the documents. So let's say if this is a real deal, you'd have the agreement of purchase and sale, Schedule B, confirmation of co-op, working with the realtor, and maybe a couple other forms here, right? So it might take you time to download them all one by one. Same thing on your computer, one by one. In your email, one by one. Much better just to download this document, and there it is, right? Just unzip it, and then all the files will be here, and you can drag and drop wherever you need to and send that off to the listing agent for them to sign. All right, so that's really all we're going to show today on this. The third installment of this training will be about what do you do when you get the sign back from the listing agent. How do you either get your client to acknowledge and say, okay, we'll accept this sign back, or how do you sign back and send it out to the listing agent again?